Dr. Misal sir, Junior College Supervisor, respected Karanje sir, Vocational Supervisor, respected Utge sir, respected Killare sir, Dr. Wadkar sir, Dr. Garad sir, Dr. Patwari sir, and IQAC Coordinator, respected Kale sir, and a big thanks to all the respected participants. Those are joining daily from all over India and abroad also, and they are making a very successful series. So it's my pleasure. I am here to introduce a resource person. Today's resource person is Honorable Aditi Dubey, Clinical Psychology Trainee at Amity University, Kolkata, West Bengal. Topic of presentation is digital use and child mental health. Aditi ma'am has completed Bachelor degree in Psychology Honors, MA in Clinical Psychology. She completed Skill Development Program from Human Resource Management. She is a sincere and hard-working person driven by curiosity and interest to learn more about human behavior along with passionate drive to serve them more. Presently, she is working for MPhil Clinical Psychology. She worked in National Institute for the Empowerment of Person with Intellectual Disabilities in summer internship. She also worked in Noor Manzil Psychiatric Center while internship for 1 month. She published a number of papers on national and international level. She got certifications like Certificate of Proficiency in Human Resource Management Skill Development Program. She got number of certifications, participant in e-workshop on immediate care of psychological events and emergencies in context to COVID-19 pandemic. She achieved award as gold medal Best Paper Presentation Award in 7th National Conference on Society and Well-being, Shri Baljit Shastri Award for the Best in Human and Traditional Values, and she has top skills like clinical psychology, mental health counseling, and human resources. So after this introduction, I would like to request today's keynote speaker, Honorable Aditi ma'am, please start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita ma'am and Prakash sir, for giving a warm welcome. Before I start, I would like to thank Dr. Beatkar sir and the entire school of Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya and their esteemed reputed faculty for giving me the opportunity to be here as a keynote speaker. With this, I would like to start my presentation of today, that is the digital use and child mental health care. Sir, may I have your permission to start the presentation?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
And the slides are changing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So, I have chosen the topic digital use and child mental health care because this is an area of my key interest. Digital use that we all know has increased in especially in past 2 years. जैसे कि जब से lockdown है, after the lockdown, this thing has been a lot of talks and a lot of work has been done in this field, especially trying to understand the benefits or the merits and the demerits of the use, especially when it comes to child mental health care, because all of a sudden things were closed and there was only online way or for education, and that too for a very long time. So when it comes to children, it is important to understand because they are in a developing stage and their development. There are many aspects to be it cognitive, social, or emotional rules, uh, where digital use has been influential, which we will see in the consequent slides. So these are my content. I would start off with the concept of technology. Now, what do we understand by technology? Technology क्या है? We as adults know that it is a scientific knowledge for practical purpose or application, whether it's industry or in everyday life. Even the opening of the locks of the door, these are also latest technologies that have come in due course of time. But for kids, यानी बच्चों के लिए technology is only restricted to phones, TVs or laptops. They only for them the definition of technology is different. तो जब हम कहते हैं technology का use बच्चों के लिए क्या है, we have to see from their point of view, उनके perspective से समझना जरूरी है. अक्सर देखा जाता है मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स वांट टू नो कि ये डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी बच्चे की लाइफ को बेटर कर रही है कि मिजरेबल बना रही है. नाउ इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन एंड दिस विल बी द थीम ऑफ माय एंटायर प्रेजेंटेशन कि इज इट रियली गुड, इज इट एक्चुअली गुड फॉर देम और फॉर देयर मेंटल हेल्थ और इज इट बैड. So let's just understand that technology is the, let me just again emphasize that technology is the knowledge, skill, methods and techniques required to produce tools and equipments for people's needs. एक छोटा सा इंक्लाइंड प्लेन भी जब कई साल पहले जब उसका आविष्कार हुआ होगा, that too is a technology which is used for currently in the form, इसका advanced version है staircase. So still यहाँ पर but in current context what we know is technology को what mostly when we say technology an app comes in our mind or the latest version of phone or a latest laptop or the new smartphones have come into the play. So I'll begin the presentation with few facts and pertaining to this topic. What is exactly digital use and what do people all around the world think of it? India, but we'll focus in the second part. But first, let us see what are the other countries thinking and doing of this fact, the use of digital use and children. This is just a joke which has come up and evolved. यहाँ पे as we see कि this is the Maslow's hierarchy which we are seeing, which is a very famous model used for understanding in humanities and management. But currently, there is a new addition to it which is way below the physiological need, that is the Wi-Fi or the internet, which to some extent does make sense because now the things have become digitalized. So, in due course of time, even our very famous theories, जो हम पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, जो जैसा हम पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, वो सब भी changes होते आ रहे हैं, वो सब concepts भी बदल रहे हैं, evolve हो रहे हैं. I would say evolve हो रहे हैं नए time से. So this is a very recent study in the year 2020 by Pew Research Center. Then there are few findings. Most of them say that parents far more likely see children's access to smartphone as potentially being more harmful than being beneficial, which means जो कि ज़्यादातर लोग समझते हैं. अभी भी we know कि excessive use of smartphone or digital media is not beneficial for children. Around 71% think that it is the harm outweighs the potential benefits. चाहे बच्चे जितना भी आपको example या वो TV show या advertisements जितने भी आए कि the kid is studying, parents think that the kid is fighting, but now ये certain XYZ apps use करके the kid's study has improved or his concentration has improved. उस पर we'll debate later, but eventually ये देखा गया most of the time it is कि what parents think is कि harm outweigh करता है benefit, जो कि लगभग ठीक ही है क्योंकि यहाँ पर around इसको अगर simple भाषा में समझे तो at least around 7 out of 10 parents think that their smartphones will hurt children's ability to develop healthy friendships and learn social skills. Social media is replacing the social skills which has been seen in recent times. ये बच्चे they are very comfortable in texting or sending messages instead of talking to and making friends in real person. Growth, बच्चे की physical ailments आने के chances या चश्मे लगने के chances ज़्यादा कई स्टडीज हैं जो बोलती हैं कि ऐसा ज्यादा हो सकता है. Again, क्योंकि screen time is not just phone. When we see digitalization and digital use, it's just not restricted to phone. It is it's our tablet, computer, television, desktop, gaming devices, all of them. Interestingly, television has topped the age-wise. If we see 3 to 4 years old ho, 5 to 8 ho, या 9 to 11 ho, TV has always been at the top. Television is वो हमारे टाइम से ही चलते जा रहा है कि television would be there, but now in recent trends they would say कि अब tablets and computers में भी shift कर रहे हैं, but TV, tablet computers, smartphones, desktops or laptops and gaming devices, they're all by the age of 9 to 11 पहुंचते there is a major time spent, majority of time spent on screen, which is digital, spending their time on digital and also digital media. Along with this, there are other studies which say the majority of parents say that their child 11 or younger watches videos on YouTube. Again, now when we are saying what the child is spending time on internet, what is the child seeing? What are the informations that the child has access to? What is he? There are a lot of loopholes here. We think that the child knows nothing. Yeah, child is not. Child will. It's easy to manipulate the child, but ऐसा नहीं है. Usually, a famous psychologist has said the child is the father of a man. They are, and the next generation is way more involved, which I'll be explaining in my consequence slides. So it's not that we have to be very careful of what kind of information the kids are open to, especially at very young or vulnerable age, because it will directly affect their growth, their mental health, as well as physical or other sociological, behavioral, emotional, cognitive, all the domains. Most parents also do think that it's acceptable for a child under the age of 12 to have their own smartphone. They don't think that it's acceptable, which again makes it again is debatable. कि अब उस time तक they use, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the parents have to leave and there is nobody at the house, so they do have to give phone. अब बच्चे को किस एज में फोन देना चाहिए, बच्चे के ऊपर कितना हमें रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देनी चाहिए, कितना रिस्पॉन्सिबल बच्चा उस समय, कितनी डेवलपमेंट हुई है उसकी, वो समझ सके कि व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ फोन, हाउ डू वी डू दैट. अगेन यहाँ पर हमें वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल बिकॉज व्हेन इट छोटे 3 to 4 years से दे स्टार्ट. आई नो मेरे घर में भी कितने छोटे बच्चे हैं, मेरे नीज नेफ्यूज हैं, जो कि इनको पता है कि छोटेपन से कि लॉक पैटर्न क्या है मम्मी के या उनके पापा के फोन का, they can easily access it. But then again, supervision plays an important role. कि आपके supervision होना. Initially we laugh it off कि अरे बच्चे कितने smart हो गए, देखिए phone use कर रहे हैं. But then again, as a psychologist, I would say कि it's nice that they are playing and they are using phone. Angry Bird या जो भी जैसे भी क्या games खेलने they do. But not at the cost of other aspects. कि ये लोग बाहर नहीं खेलते, ये लोग किसी या अपने एज ग्रुप के साथ नहीं खेलते. Adequate times एकेडमिक्स में या बाकी डोमेन्स में अगर फर्क पड़ने लग रहा है तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि बच्चे का ध्यान या कहाँ ज़्यादा लग रहा है. Now this was a study in UK, in United Kingdoms, and where they found out कि around they have explained it in 4 different ages of child: 3 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 11, and 12 to 15. Interestingly, again here TV outnumbers all the 4 categories. It starts with 96% and eventually goes to 99%. Yeah, 90%. It goes to the TV as always a source of TV has the maximum amount of attention from kids. अभी जो कि थोड़ा सा ये टीवी एंड फोन के बीच में अब वो चलता है कि whether to use TV or see phone, depends on the situation कि उस समय क्या मिले. But again, जैसे जैसे बच्चों की एज बढ़ती है from 3 to 4, 5 to 7, it's seen that it switches to online and smartphone. By the end of 12 to 15 years, the social media comes into the account and they have another key developments begin to play. इसमें now let us come to see and understand what is the digital use among children in India. So before we begin with what happens here, let us try to understand the internet ka a little bit of history of internet in India. Internet for public use in India was launched on 15th of August 1995 by Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, commonly known as VSNL. In 2005, following the formulation of government broadband policies and internet usage was accelerated. So it was very recent here in India compared to other Western countries. So, according to the latest report issued by Telecom Regulation Authority of India, there are approximately 324.89 million internet subscribers in our country, and approximately 35% of the internet users in India are adolescents. With an increasing number of users, the internet has revolutionized the education and social communication, which we are currently seeing. And children and adolescents of the 21st century are more connected and aware with the latest developments in the field and have access to the academic and recreational material that would have been inaccessible without the use of internet. Again, it is like a do dhai talwar. I remember when I was in school, we used to get these essays where they say topic ऐसे होता था internet boon or bane, is it good or bad? But ना तब easy था ना आज easy है to just say कि whether internet usage is very good or very bad, because the answer lies in both. It is good as well as bad. Just is my now coming to the development of internet in India. Internet introduced so as I explained previously, internet was introduced in India on 15th of August 1995. After that, a pivotal role played by the government was the launch of EduSat, that is educational satellite, in September 2004, which was expected to revolutionize the distance education programs in India, and especially to send this digital education to the rural India. So that is why in 2004, the government of India launched around 150,000 ground terminals in the country to provide education to all the sections of the society. Then, 11 years later, Digital India campaign was launched, which is commonly hello? Yeah. So Digital India campaign was launched in 2015 and is likely to further benefit the education system by bringing elements such as live instructions, video content. There are many, जैसे कि इसमें NPTEL स्वयं पोर्टल है, NPTEL है, ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं जहाँ पे डिजिटल इंडिया के मोड से a lot of skill development and courses are being provided to the kids, and kids, not even kids, adults, and every student. So access to information and knowledge to every student anywhere in any part of India is also out of India up to somewhere. So that is a very big boon which digitalization and has done to us and our mental health and consequently our overall well-being. So around latest research in 2019 suggested, this is pre-COVID, that around the Internet and Mobile Association of India said that around 66 million internet users in the country are in the age bracket of 5 to 11 years, and they access the internet on the devices of family members. बिल्कुल जैसा कि earlier की studies में कहा गया है, जिनके पास इस उम्र में खुद के फोन नहीं होंगे, but they will have their parents' phone, grandparents' phone, and they can easily access it. And this number is going to increase also. Abhi it's not going to, it's on a positive note. Coming to the latest news. These are a few latest news that have come in the recent times, like in last 2 years, that India has around 500 million active internet users, 14% of which are in the age bracket of 5 to 11 years. Children locked down in virtual world, ये भी एक important topic है कि what has actually affected, how has it affected their mental health in recent times. And then ये भी कहा है कि 38% of school-going kids have access to internet in India. This is again another counterpoint to what I was saying, कि not necessarily कि everybody or every child has the access to internet. So what about them? What happens to those kids who do not have access to internet at all? What does mental health उनकी कैसी होती है? इसका भी I'll explain through a model called Goldilocks model in the next consequence slides. Again, last news is that India's prolonged school closure has set children back to years academically and taken a toll on their emotional well-being. Definitely. Coming to the positive and negative effects of technology, when we speak about the bad sides of technology, children are the first ones when we come in mind. For us as an adult, we know that bad effects are always bad effects come. For us, we have the power of choice. We are mature enough to make a decision. This is good or this is bad. But when it comes to children, children rely upon their parents, and parents take responsibility. So that it's important for us to supervise what they are seeing, what they are not seeing. But if we start off with the positive benefits of technology, these are the few positive effects which I'll explain a bit in detail. Enhanced cognitive abilities. Chin effect bolkar, there is an effect in is humanities and psychology which says that in every 10 years, the next generation that comes is more intelligent than the previous generation. इसको हम as like we as psychologists when we administer intelligence test, उससे भी we can understand कि ये जो नई generation आ रही, it is indeed smarter than the previous generations. हमसे ही ज़्यादा smarter है जो नई generation है, जो छोटे बच्चे हैं. So इसको how do we explain? टेक्नोलॉजी का एक रोल है. देयर आर स्टडीज विच सपोर्ट की लिंक की डायरेक्टली या इनडायरेक्टली टेक्नोलॉजी का एक पर्टिकुलर इंक्रीज्ड स्टिमुलाई या एक्सरसाइजेस बच्चों को कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम्स सॉल्व करने में हेल्प करती है. अगर सही तरीके से हो तो कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटीज एनहांस करती है. टेक्नोलॉजी इज रिकमेंडेड फॉर चिल्ड्रन. ऐसा नहीं है कि टेक्नोलॉजी वी शुड जस्ट रिमूव ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज अवे फ्रॉम चिल्ड्रन एंड से लाइक एकदम इन आइसोलेशन. नो, टेक्नोलॉजी इज रिक्वायर्ड for playing, for their growth, for being connected with friends, anything and everything is required. But again, the key element is कि the quantity and frequency. ये monitor करना है कि वे कितने घंटे वो कितना टाइम वो लोग स्पेंड कर रहे हैं. बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. एक अपनी लिमिट में हो, टाइम लिमिट में हो, तो वो सारी चीज़ें कर सकते हैं आराम से. Enhanced mental skills. Again, कई games आ चुके हैं, memory games हैं, attention games हैं, math games हैं. There are so many games which help them to develop their skills. They think their GK and quizzes. I remember when I was like while watching KBC, कौन बनेगा करोड़पति, KBC is play along. इसका एक play along option है. So the kids in my house they're also very excited to play along with the QC. I also know this. I also know this. They are participating in it. With how? Through digital use and mental skills. And how this is how it's explaining and bringing their key interest in areas. So even I know that. Through this point, there is also enhanced learning. There are ideas like the virtual programming, say their 3D vision, say it helps them understand and enhance and learn through sensory stimulations. Multisensory or stimulation से learning बहुत better होती है. देखा गया ऐसा ज़्यादातर studies. In fact, there are schools in Kerala which have, I think, latest schools in Kerala have become totally digital. So, in fact, it's a great achievement for that state. Coming to the problem-solving skills, as I explained earlier, there are so many kinds of games and games which require problem-solving skill, how to change and how to manipulate the environment to reach your goal. If the child is able to do that, I think that is helping them enhance their problem-solving skills, and since childhood. Now, parental control in emergency. Again, यहाँ पे it's a plus point which we see कि if the kid is having a phone and there is something, if something goes wrong, they can easily track. Their location can be tracked. Their details can be tracked. Where were they? How were they traveling? What was their things? So, it does help in certain ways. Easy access to information. Again, bringing the KBC's example here. Now that KBC's program, if they do not know an answer, these kids will they'll Google and find out what is exactly the correct answer. We are the Google generations. Even when I was in my college back then, they used to like my friends used to tease me saying, you are the Googler. You always Google, keep Googling. That's what happened. If I am not able to understand something, I'll just Google. But my teachers and my professors would always say that now this generation is only relies upon Google. Like in their time, they used to go to libraries, sit there, look out for the books, and then look out for the information. वो अलग एक process था. I remember a little off topic, but आज के time पे review of literature when we do a study, it's so easy. You enter something and Google Scholar gives you all information. But then at that time, it was very difficult. So again, for kids, critical thinking development, again similar to previous points, this point also gets enhanced. Now coming to the negative effects of digital use. There are quite a few negative effects. Lowering of attention span होना ही है. When they are seeing so many stimuli and they have the ability to change it according to them, so the एक जगह concentration रहना becomes वो practice में ही नहीं आता. They are not able to practice that, and if they are not able to practice, they'll be easily distracted, and then consequently this effect will also seen on their grades. So it has to, like, if for example, अगर again इसमें if they are reading something like book में, for example, there are Kindles and all, then that the case might be different. But when it's coming to games, जो easy left right वाला, for example, Temple Run or Angry Birds, जो भी games है, there is always this finger movement. So there is a conditioning that is happening. Like for the kids, reward center में it hits them कि finger से swipe करो और यहाँ पर you feel good. So ये करने से now they'll not be able to have a sustained attention for a very long time. Minimize social interaction, जो कि देखा है beginning से जो parents have had this fear कि now that they are so much into, especially post COVID, it has been seen कि they are so much into our environment at home कि now the toddlers, especially जो कहते हैं कि COVID के time पे जो babies born हुए हैं, वो हर जगह, there was a very famous video कि वो हर जगह छोटे बच्चे जो थे वो हर जगह रोड पे सैनिटाइजर्स ढूंढते थे, because that is the mask and the sanitizer kit. How will they learn the social interaction when they are not open to that kind of an environment? The importance of play and kids playing in their own age is very crucial at this particular age. But the necessary developments will not take place. Kid will be shy, will not talk to people of his own age. Why? तो environment के हिसाब से correct stimulations देंगे दे to prosper that. Increased aggression, ये तो है. There are like a lot of इसका there is a next point where I will be explaining more कि why aggression and what is exactly happening. कि now that there is so much of stimuli and they know with the flick of finger they are getting all what they want. कभी किसी time glitch हो. और इसका सबसे बड़ा example है WhatsApp down होना, internet down हो जाना, 5 मिनट के लिए Wi-Fi बंद. Aggression, frustration, it's not happening. They are not getting that kick here. नहीं आ रहा, it's not happening. Now I'm getting it's not happening. Why? Because sustained attention नहीं है. They are not able to sit calmly for a long time. Health problem, consequent health problems, which we all know what has happened. चश्मे लग जाते हैं, neck pain, structures में फर्क आ जाता है. There is a famous photo कि we are again evolving back to how our ancestors or our evolution कि ये दो पैर पे चलने वाले जो straight थे, फिर अब धीरे-धीरे again we are slouching in our position. Arms and fingers की numbness, too overstrain से, it happens to me only. Usage of too much of phone can numb my entire thumb. Now I'm not able to use it. Why is it happening? Even children are open and succumb to these kind of health problems. Reduced sleep quality, definitely. There are so many studies that have said that exposure to the rays, especially before sleeping, can actually hinder the quality of sleep. जिसके लिए there are so many supposedly other solutions that have come up, कि blue light filter or use these kinds of filters, but it doesn't really work that much. सोने के ठीक 1 घंटे पहले तक all these digital media, these digital TV and screen has to be reduced for enhancing a better quality of sleep. There are so many studies that have associated negative association between the screen time and sleep outcome. So सोने के पहले usage of phone is bad for all, especially kids. Cyberbullying and abuse security. Now this is important here. I explained that the violence takes a worse form called cyberbullying. Cyberbullying में I have personally had I did a study on cyberbullying last year among adolescents. मतलब teenagers के ऊपर मैंने किया था, and मेरे को इतना समझ में आया कि around 76% of adolescents बच्चों में report किया कि they have witnessed cyberbullying happening to someone else. यानी कि it means it is very prevalent. cyberbullying काफी होती है. जब 70 से ऊपर बच्चे ने कहा है कि they have seen something happening like this, means that this is a thing of concern. उसपे से 13% had reported कि around they themselves had been bullied. उनको खुद को किसी ने कभी bully किया था in such a way कि it had affected them very deeply. यानी कि वो victims थे, 13% victims थे, and interestingly 10% of the adolescents, mostly male gender, reported to participate in the act of cyberbullying. अब कैसे? Through the form of games, जैसे कि इनके multiplayer games है, PUBG है, Dota, Xbox or whatever, Counter Strike. There is this panel through which they talk and as addressed to one another. And उस समय, what language do they use? How do they use? And because I think they work in a team. For example, Counter Strike works on a team collaboration. There are 3 here, 4 there. So one person doesn't play well, other 3 hit on. So abuses and ये भी एक form of cyberbullying है. Abuse, frustration tolerance नहीं है इनके. They're not able to tolerate any kind of frustration. Patience भी consequently affect करती है and thereby every other well-being, इनकी emotional well-being को affect करती है. Mental illnesses में तो इसमें clinical हो जाता है when it comes to depression or even other attention के स्थान में दिक्कत होगा ही because again there is for example social media use में body image issues. These come up कि when you are someone is bullied or someone gets taunted by and then a lot of they start staying aloof. उनको नहीं मिलना, नहीं बात करनी, क्यों? क्योंकि सोशल स्किल्स भी नहीं होती हैं, यहाँ बात ही वो दे आर नॉट एबल टू एक्सप्रेस देमसेल्व्स. देयर आर मेनी फैक्टर्स बिहाइंड डिप्रेशन. बट effect of technology, detrimental, this is one of the detrimental effect of technology, can be more higher rate of depression due to isolation. Emotional disturbances, as explained earlier, कि emotionally there will be distress and disturbances because they want to really don't know how to express themselves, not having been spending quality time with their family and caregivers. Coming to the Goldilocks effect, यहाँ पे a little importance has to be given to this point कि exactly now we are confused whether technology is right or bad for the kids. हमें क्या इनको देना चाहिए या नहीं देना चाहिए? बिल्कुल टेक्नोलॉजी देनी चाहिए. They should be aware with the latest developments in technologies. But what is the key rule? Adequate time. Simple. सही सिर्फ समय का खेल है. अगर वो 1 घंटे, this study has suggested कि 1 hour of screen for recreation is sufficient, be it weekday या weekend. Throughout आप ये टाइम टेबल बनाओ कि 1 hour का बच्चे को रोज टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करने को मिलेगा, स्क्रीन टाइम, be it his favorite game or favorite show. बाकी का रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम fill it with other kinds of activities, जैसे कि पार्क में खेलना, फ्रेंड्स से मिलना, इन पर्सन अपने होमवर्क करना, नहीं आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट में इन्वॉल्व होना. देन दैट विल एक्चुअली हैव द, इसमें बच्चे की मेंटल वेलबींग सबसे ज्यादा होती है इससे, क्योंकि दे स्टे कनेक्टेड विद देयर फ्रेंड्स एंड एवरीबडी एंड दे आल्सो नो हाउ टू डू देयर वर्क. उनको स्किल्स में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती, उनकी सोशल स्किल एनहांस होती है, उनकी इमोशनल वेलबींग अच्छी होती है, कॉन्सिक्वेंटली फिजिकल वेलबींग भी अच्छी होगी. वो लोग पार्क में खेल रहे तो वो अपने आप से खेलना पसंद करते हैं. कमिंग टुवर्ड्स द एंड कि व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स टू इंप्रूव मेंटल हाइजीन ऑफ चिल्ड्रन. 18 मंथ्स के नीचे तक तो अवॉइड स्क्रीन बेस्ड मीडिया एक्सेप्ट वीडियो चैटिंग. ऐसा अमेरिकन एकेडमिक ऑफ पीडियाट्रिक्स ने ये एस्टैब्लिशमेंट कुछ रिकमेंडेशंस दी हैं. नाउ इट्स 18 मंथ्स से 24 मंथ्स के बीच में पेरेंट्स शुड चूज अ हाई क्वालिटी प्रोग्रामिंग एंड वॉच विद चिल्ड्रन. With 2 to 5 age of 2 to 5, limit the screen time to 1 hour per day of high quality programming, and for 6 and up, establish consistent limits on time spent using media and types of media. Time limit बांधना जरूरी है. For parents and caregivers, how do we say, what do I say when they see their child using social media or internet for too long? Do not डांटने की जरूरत नहीं. We do not have to overreact because when हम डांटते हैं तो अक्सर हमारी बात बच्चों की मतलब डांट पर ज्यादा रहती है एंड इफेक्ट क्या है, किस चीज के लिए डांटा वो नहीं समझ में आता है. तो हमें कॉज पर एड्रेस करना है कि बेटा ये तुम्हारे इतना ज्यादा तुम टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हो, इसके लिए हम नाराज हैं, हमें ये चीज नहीं करनी है. सो overreact na karke, we have to talk to them and communicate. Teaching kids about technology from a very young age so that they know what are the things and how do we handle, what are the things that are good for them, bad for them, how do we what are the information that they are supposed to give. अब तो धीरे धीरे और लोगों को बतानी है. इसे we call digital literacy. Using our own judgment, we have to use our judgment and try to understand कि अगर what exactly do we think, is it right? For example, entertaining a preschooler on plane, the world won't end if she has a little extra screen time. कई बार जरूरी हो जाता है. But if your son is doing a research paper on school, the computer time shouldn't necessarily count on only his screen time. So वो भी depend करता है कि not always, we cannot use the same stick for all. Bedtime को protect करना at any cost. यहाँ तो 30 minutes, but in general 1 hour to 30 minutes के लिए it is generally advised to not use phone. Paying attention to whatever they are seeing, teaching good online behavior. Online behavior is there are a lot of studies and there are a lot of books and workbooks to say कि how do we enhance their online behavior. How do we actually ये cyberbullying पे भी have said कि how do we encourage them to stop and report these things if they see or um, they are facing it. If they are facing it, they have to report to us as parents or as teachers and as trusted people to say and something wrong is happening with them. As a perpetrator, if you find out that somebody is doing that, then again it has to be risky. It is not a good manner to verbally abuse someone, whether it is on person or whether it is on phone. It is a bad manner, is bad manner, be it on person or on online. It remains the same. Discussing digital decision making skills and fostering real life friendships. If a real life friendship, there is no, it cannot be replaced by social media friendship or virtual friendship. Real life friendships do last long. In person का impact ही अलग होता है. For students, I understand it is really hard for them to enjoy this online education, but they have to learn how to balance it. If you are students, you are listening, you have to learn to meditate and take time out of the schedule and try to understand when do we have to stop it. Get mindful. Mindfulness is a concept now. It's a good concept of being present. Be present and being at that moment. How do we actually सारी चीज़ों से just present में रहना and try to understand the feelings or thoughts that you're having are natural to come, but उनका काम है thoughts का आना and जाना, like a wave. So you don't have to totally be involved in it. Instead, just be as a bystander रहकर, you just have to let them come and go, like a visitor. Eating right and exercise. There is no replacement to this regime. If you are not eating right and not exercising, then it will have a consequence and a detrimental effect on your health, which only you as a student or as a student is responsible, because it has to, it's easier said than done, but then there is, when you exercise, your body or the hormones that are released are actually very fruitful for your body and your growth. Rest. Exam ke pehle not sleeping for 2-3 hours, sleeping only for 1 to 2 hours. Now that is not what is going to enhance your result. A good hour of sleep is very much required and is crucial for all of us. So do not rely on like phone for all the time and give more emphasis to these basic needs: eating right, sleeping, and trying to socialize. Socializing with the friends and having genuine or general one-to-one conversation is very necessary and is actually like a treasure for us in our lives. Our connections are actually the things which actually make us or shape us as a person. Setting realistic goals. A big bang, you cannot just have some unexpected goals to overcome it. It will even take step by step to move on. And making time for fun, getting out of house to meet people, going easy on yourself and asking for help whenever required. Going easy on yourself is a nice concept. That is a self-compassion, which is where I am working currently. Self-compassion means it's not self-esteem. Self-compassion means being easy on ourselves and our mistakes. Whatever has happened, but I can make myself a better person. Being very compassionate to ourselves and our mistake. Often we see that the kids are very harsh on their own mistakes. But when the same mistake is made by their friend, they go and soothe them. This thing shouldn't be that. There shouldn't be so much of difference. You shouldn't be very harsh on yourself. You make mistakes, you learn, you grow, evolve, and adapt to the new situations. And last is asking for help. Your trusted guardians, parents, teachers, and then if not, then your counselors or mental health professionals. They're always there for you. So you have to trust them and inform them if something is bothering you for a longer time. I would like to, now this is the last topic that I'll be discussing, that is the general guidelines and recommendations, which has been given by OECD for protection of children online. So what are the guidelines that can actually help us? Firstly is the empowering children and young people to be responsible online participants. How? See, children should take much responsibilities as they can. That is why it has been said that they should be told about technology since a very young age. We have to let them know. They can't. Pandora box में नहीं छुपा कर रख सकते कि keep the tech, all the news बाद में अचानक से बताएंगे तो it will just come up. अब appropriate and accessible content. अब इसमें there are companies like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, famous gaming apps that provide online guides and video demonstrations on setting time limits and contents on their gaming systems. Apps are now even available to limit children and young people's screen time and track their online activities, whether taking or tracking the setting limits on daily social media. So there are many things. Lastly, ensuring children about the and young people of those signs and mental illnesses at a very young age. When it's signs and symptoms, they should be knowing how necessary it is to key early interventions. How early interventions play a crucial role. And finally, I would like to conclude by saying that almost the entire world is connected to internet, and for children and young people today, being online and using social media has become an integral part of their lives. This reliance on digital technology has fueled concerns from parents, teachers, governments, and young people themselves that digital technologies and social media are exacerbating feelings of anxiety and depression, disturbing sleep patterns, leading to cyberbullying and distorted body image. As the rapid changes take place of digital technology and social media by children and young people continues, it is crucial to adopt an approach that actually minimizes the risk without restricting the considerable opportunity and benefits digital technologies and social media has to offer. With this, I would like to end my presentation and thank you so much once again for giving me the opportunity to be a keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your informative and illustrative talk on the topic. And you have described in detail about the advantages, disadvantages, and careful use of digital technology. Now, after this very informative talk, now I would like to invite participants with their doubts for clearance and answer from the honorable keynote speaker. Please, participants. Is there anybody with any doubt or any question? Please.
Very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
Ani.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there is one question from my side. As during these days, COVID pandemic days, as we can see, students are forcefully they are should attend to the classes in the online mode. And with these things, they are used to use their mobile phone, laptops, and all these things. Before that, in very rarely they use these phones because they were busy in their homework and sports activity and other like interesting hobbies activity. But during these days, while they are just attending the classes and they are having their phone in their hand, so they used to take it very frequently. And simultaneously, I have observed in my family because my sister has two child, and both of them they were attending the classes on a mobile and laptop. So what I observed, they are using mobile game a lot. They are using mobile game. So in my family, nobody uses these slang language and these abusing language. But what I observed that they are using these language while in 2022 they are playing in ground also. So I thought, from where you learned this thing? Because in my family we don't use these kind of words, and from where you did learn? So in these 2 years where they were not going to the schools, they were not attending the classes, but still with that gadget or that mobile phone and with the help of these games and all these things that you have mentioned, they learn all these things because they have very strong cognitive skills at this stage. So I'm very worried about this thing. At this stage, like 6 or 7 to 10 years old, and they they are learning this thing without our knowledge, and we don't have any idea about this thing. Okay, oh, from where you are just listening these words, because in my family we are not using these kind of words, and in which school you are going, definitely no one use these kinds of words. So I am very worried about this thing. Okay, how we can stop them right now? Because knowingly or unknowingly, they have like usually to they are just playing games on these things, and some students who I don't know from where those students came on this platform, mobile phone, online game, and which background they have. But in my family, I am like concerning about my child, like how we can protect them with these things. Should we stop them, strictly stop them to play those games, or should we like let them play in a limited time period? Because if we tell them don't play game, they behave like little bit irritated, like why you are not allowing me to play games on these things, either you are not allowing me to go outside, and inside also you are stopping me to play anything. So little bit changes also we can like observing in their behavior, like irritation and like frustrated. So we are like shocked in this thing, how we can protect them and how we can like console them. Okay, these are not good thing, beta. Like we can take an example. Okay, चश्मा लग जाएगा, don't see like this thing. But नेचर जो उनका चेंज हो रहा है ना, वो एक बहुत बड़ा कंसर्न है, बिकॉज हमारी परवरिश वैसे नहीं थी, बट लाइक उनकी जो परवरिश है उस एज में, अभी इस एज में ही ये चीजें इलेक्ट्रिक गैजेट्स और ये सब चीजें आ चुकी हैं और फोर्सफुली आ चुकी हैं, हम भी नहीं मना कर सकते, बिकॉज उनकी क्लासेस ही ना ऑनलाइन चल रही हैं, एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स, ये गेम्स भी उनको उन्हीं के थ्रू पता चले। अगर मोबाइल फोन उनके पास नहीं आता तो शायद गेम भी नहीं पता चलता। So ma'am, please, I would like to have your suggestions on this thing, how we
Yes.
can tell them.
So ma'am, आपने partly you answered your own question कि how do we stop them? Do we completely stop that? अगर completely stop करेंगे तो there will be a gap, वो और उसको करने के जाएंगे, वो और उसको ढूंढने के जाएंगे what exactly happened. What we have to do is कि उन्हें उनसे conversation में उनसे directly कोई बात कर दें, उनको आराम से बैठकर समझाएं कि देखिए आपके खेलने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आपको खेलना है, बट आप कुछ लैंग्वेजेस ऐसा कुछ वर्ड्स ऐसा बोल रहे हैं जो कि ठीक नहीं है यूज करना। अगर आपको समझना होगा कि ये सब वर्ड्स, चिल्ड्रन आर वेरी इंटेलिजेंट एंड दे आर इमोशनली सेंसिटिव टू इट। आप डायरेक्टली उनसे बात करें, बोले कि जो आप ये वर्ड्स यूज कर रहे हैं सीधा एड्रेस करें उस बिहेवियर को जो दिक्कत क्रिएट कर रही है उनको, क्योंकि जब हम अक्सर क्या होता है कि हम डांट देते हैं और उनको बाद में समझाते हैं 2 घंटे बाद कि देखो तुमने इस कारण से किया था। When a punishment is directly followed by a good response कि हम ये कर रहे, we are asking you to not behave properly because this word which you have used is bad, yeah it is not, yeah this is foul language, हमें नहीं यूज करना है। Kids will get their other examples that they are using, they will be you have to understand and answer कि देखो they are using, they might have their own reasons, but we will not, this is not a good behavior to do. एंड उसके साथ साथ कॉन्सिक्वेंटली फिर व्हेन इट कम्स टू किड्स, तो आप किड्स को आप बिहेवियर में अगर अच्छे से परफॉर्म करेंगे तो उनको आप कोई रिवॉर्ड भी दे सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपने अच्छे से खेला है, आपने अच्छे से बात किया, तो वी कैन गिव यू अ टॉफी या चॉकलेट। तो इससे क्या है कि सही बिहेवियर आपका और स्ट्रेंथन हो जाता है, क्योंकि कोई भी बिहेवियर जो होती है वो अगर वो लर्न होती है तो वो उससे हम अनलर्न भी कर सकते हैं। हमारी मतलब प्रिंसिपल, हमारी जो साइकोलॉजी की प्रिंसिपल है ये इसी पर चलती है कि एनी बिहेवियर जो नई सीखी है वो नई बिहेवियर भी सीख सकते हैं। तो हमें क्या करना है, हमें रिप्लेस करना है कि हमें इनको सिखाना है कि आपके जो बिहेवियर, आप जो ये बोल रहे हो, ये शब्द जो है इन्हें नहीं बोलना है, इन्हें नहीं बोलकर आप कुछ और, आपको फ्रस्ट्रेशन है नहीं, इरिटेशन के आप बारे में आप बात करते हैं, अगेन उसके हमें समझने पड़ेंगे क्या कारण है, किससे कैसे खेल नहीं पा रहे हैं कि बार बार हार रहे हैं, इरिटेशन क्यों आती है। कई बार ऐसा हो सकता है कि बच्चे हार जा रहे हैं, 2 बार हार रहे हैं, तो उनको वो भी समझाना है कि लाइफ में not necessarily they will be winning each and every game, so winning and losing is a part and parcel of life। अपने एग्जांपल्स दें कि हम लोग भी जब बचपन में, जैसे हम लूडो खेलते, स्नेक एंड लैडर खेलते, कई बार 99 पर आकर स्नेक काट देता है, तो हम वी हैव टू, तब भी हम वो वर्बली अब्यूजिव नहीं होते, या हम नहीं करते कि नहीं हम नहीं खेलेंगे। सो अपने सही मॉडल, अपने एग्जांपल्स खुद के अगर रिलेवेंट एग्जांपल्स हम देंगे तो दे विल अंडरस्टैंड बेटर। अब अगर, क्योंकि बच्चे पेरेंट्स को मॉडल करना पसंद कर, पेरेंट्स या केयर गिवर्स को मॉडल करना वो करते भी वही हैं कि they observe us and again इसमें observing भी again हमें ऐसा लगता है कि children मतलब सिर्फ पेरेंट्स और स्कूल और पेरेंट्स के कॉम्बिनेशन से चलता है, बट बच्चे social it's like there are so many peer groups play a very important role. बच्चे के कैसे पेयर तो वो ये आप ऑनेस्टली बच्चों के साथ बात करें विदाउट एनी टू अदर पॉइंट्स, मतलब सीधा आप एड्रेस करें उस बिहेवियर को कि आप जैसा बोल रहे हैं कुछ पॉइंट्स आप ऐसा कह रहे हैं ये ठीक नहीं है यूज करना, आप इससे कुछ और आपको क्यों लगता है कि आपको ये बोलने की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो वो मेरी बात नहीं सुनता। अगर बच्चा कहेगा तो बोले कि जरूरी नहीं कि आप ऐसे भी बोल सकते हो बिना आप गाली या बिना कुछ अपशब्द कहे, आप नॉर्मली भी उसको बोल सकते हो कि तुम मेरी बात क्यों नहीं सुन रहे। डिसअपॉइंटमेंट बच्चों को डिसअपॉइंटमेंट एक्सप्रेस करने का भी एक राइट है कि वो खुश है नहीं है, वो उनको बोलना है, लेकिन डिसअपॉइंटमेंट किस तरीके से बोलना है ये भी उनको थोड़ा सा समझाना है कि अगर हम नहीं पसंद आ रहे तो बोलो कि नहीं आपने जो ये किया मुझे नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है, गुस्सा आ रहा है ये ठीक है, बट लेकिन उन्हें ऑल्टरनेटिव ऑप्शंस जब तक नहीं दिखाएंगे उन्हें नहीं समझ में आएगा कि मम्मी ने या पापा ने या किसी ने क्यों मेरा फोन छीन लिया। तो इस तरीके से हम कर सकते हैं।
Ma'am, in continuation with this thing, I would like to ask, can we say this is an impact of these online classes or impact of these pandemic education, or we can say online education, having affected these students' learning capability also?
It's a very good question. Learning capability, 2 years वैसे भी pandemic के जो थे, it was very it affected each and every strata of the society, everyone, any and everyone. So जाहिर सी बात है कि learning में भी आएगा। किस aspect में सबसे ज़्यादा I would say इसकी उनका जो physical education and training थी वो 2 years की वो सबसे ज़्यादा impact हुई होगी। अगर रैंक वाइज समझूं तो कि उनको जितना खेलना चाहिए था बाहर, जितना अपने पीयर्स के साथ घूमना चाहिए था, वो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, वो सिर्फ घर में बने थे। पढ़ाई एजुकेशन ऑनलाइन हुई है, ये सब भी एक एस्पेक्ट है, बट आई वुड से कि ये वाले जो फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग और ये थी ये ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है।
इंटरेक्शन जो टीचर्स एंड स्टूडेंट्स के बीच,
बॉडी एज अ टीचर आई वुड लाइक फ्रॉम टीचर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आई वुड से कि आप लोग को भी बॉडी लैंग्वेज बच्चों के समझने में डिफिकल्ट, लाइक जस्ट इन पर्सन देखने में और जस्ट ऐसे स्मॉल स्क्रीन देखने में आप फर्क पड़ेगा कि यहाँ
gestures you cannot like identify how they are
identify.
So thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, please.
I was saying last key, but the change has now it's happening now that now that there are these unlockdown has happened and now again we are getting back in track.
Yes.
These things will cover up on its own.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I really enjoyed your session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Is there anybody else with any question, please? The speech was very illustrative. Many examples were given, and all the aspects which are related with the digital use and child mental health have become clear to all of us. And also, Anita Yadav ma'am asked the question and got very good answer. We all enjoyed the speech. So after this, I would like to invite Chief Organizer and Chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir, to deliver his concluding speech. Please sir, welcome.
I'm sorry that I have kept mute to me and was going to speak. Thank you, Professor Karad sir, and thank you today's respected discussion, madam. Today you have chosen a perfect topic which is related to every parent. In every home, this is the issues and problems with the digital media. And with your research and all these things, it's very clear that these media should be used moderately, and we have to give direction of such media to our child positively. So everyone of this webinar should take some tips from that, how digital media should be used, controlled, and used for the benefit of the students, not for the entertainment. You have explained every aspect of that. Thank you, madam, for joining here with us and with your research. And in future also we will invite you for such topics which are very useful for our society and for all parents. And we request you to send 2-page summary of this speech. We are publishing the book and we will include it in that. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Now I am here for the vote of thanks, and I sincerely thank the Honorable Speaker Aditi Dubey ma'am, who has accepted the invitation of our college and addressed us on the topic in detail. So on behalf of the organizing committee of the college and webinar series, I thank you ma'am heartily. I also thank chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series, who is keeping this webinar series going on successfully due to his hard efforts. Different topics are provided to audience for listening and for discussions. So on behalf of the committee, I thank you, sir, for these efforts. I also thank all the participants who are punctually joining the webinar series and taking active part in the discussions. So thank you, participants. I also thank Dr. Anita Dhole ma'am for giving introduction of today's honorable speaker. And now I request all the participants to fill feedback form so that you can have your certificates. And with the kind permission of chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series, I announce here that today's webinar is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We will keep this for 5 minutes to fill up the link. You can take rest and leave now. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.